Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Riccardo Bosi, National Leader of AustraliaOne and the recent independent candidate for the seat of Greenway in the 2022 federal election. And welcome to this post-election update. We've got a few things to cover here tonight, a broad range of issues. However, having said that, let me just get Sarah's opinion, because Sarah's got a different view, not different. Her perspective, the way she saw it all pan out is a little different to mine since I was on the hustings and close to it, but Sarah got a chance to sit back and watch the big moves at play. So Sarah, good evening and welcome. Give us your take on what you saw as the 2022 federal election.
G'day. I thought it was a really exciting, trying to think of the word, very interesting experience. Maybe not exciting, because I know a lot of people are down at the moment, but in my personal opinion, I knew it was coming. I knew that there was no way a genuine independent wasn't going to get in, but that's okay, because nothing changes for us. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. But what I really loved about this whole experience is, number one, I'm learning a hell of a lot about politics, which I never ever thought I would. Number two, the family that we have in the A1 community is just unbelievable. Last night after the election, just hanging out with all those like-minded people was just absolutely incredible. It was an amazing experience, and you've never met these people, but it feels like you've been mates forever. And I don't know if you probably felt the same, but it was just an incredible atmosphere. Just a great bunch of people, and just a really solid family. People have got your back. You know, if someone's down and out, people said to me, if you need cash, let me know. If you need anything, let me know. And I'd never met these people before. Like, the generosity is absolutely incredible. And I know people are really down about the outcome, but there's two sides that, you know, you could look at it. Number one, let's be really optimistic about it. What if this is a potential white hat operation? And this is a really good opportunity to wake up a lot of people because of the corruption within the AEC. And I'm just calling it for what it is. This is pure corruption. There is no way this election is legitimate. No way in hell. The amount of emails I've got last night, today, on my personal phone, like Messenger, Facebook, there is no way in hell this is legitimate. So a few examples that we've had come through. People scrutineering. So you've got the counters there, and you've got the Senate ballot paper, 1 above, 6 below, and the counters are going informal. The scrutineer puts their hand up, they call over the ARO, and they explain to them, this is actually a formal vote. The ARO disagrees, so then the scrutineer, they say to the ARO, go and have a look in the scrutineer's handbook, page 38, page 40. So they go ahead, they read it, and they go, oh, wow, I didn't know this book existed. I've never read this book. You're right, it is a formal vote. So how many ballot papers were classified as informal that were actually formal? And I don't know, I probably have had 15 to 20 people explain the same thing to me over and over again, as well as the emails that are coming through. We've had reports of unsecured, unmanned ballot boxes. What the hell is happening to those ballot papers? We've had also a report, so I'm sure most of us have watched the Topher Field videos on preferential voting, which are absolutely fantastic. It's just really easy with marbles explaining the process of preferential voting. So what has been happening is, after all the number one ballots are assigned to the different political parties and independents, so the party that has the least votes, normally you would go to the second preference, but what's happening is these ballots are going to either Labor or Liberal. So if they voted Labor over Liberal, that ballot goes into the Labor pile. If they voted for Liberal over Labor, that goes into the Liberal pile. So this preferential system isn't actually occurring. So the number ones, they're allocating the number ones correctly, but then after that, it's going to either Labor or Liberal. The corruption is just absolutely next level. But the way I see it, maybe this is an opportunity for the Governor-General to dissolve Parliament, an Executive Council is appointed, and then we can really clean up the AEC, because I'm sure the AEC are going to be absolutely flooded with complaints of fraud, and they can't ignore this. There's too many people awake now. They can't ignore this. I could be wrong, but at the end of the day, regardless, there's more and more people waking up every day. And we've just got to have hope. And despite what happens, you can't give up. I had so many people come up to me and, oh, Sarah, what's going to happen with A1? Mate, we just charge forward. Get out there, do your letterbox drops. It's about trying to wake up the community. And slowly but surely, the sheep are waking up. I have about 10 family members that thought I was an absolute nutcase. And now they've come to me and they've said, I ain't getting any more jabs. So the sheep are slowly waking up, and we've just got to be there in the background, ready for when they wake up to support them. I know it's frustrating as all buggery, but you just got to be patient. Just got to be patient and just keep moving forward. And don't worry, we will win. We will win, because if you give up, you're giving up on your kids, you're giving up on your grandkids. It's just giving up's not an option. Yeah, I know. What's your take, Riccardo?
No, that's thanks, Sarah. Because that's exactly right. You are exactly right. On top of that, and there's so many issues in terms. Let's just talk very quickly about the corruption. In one of the booths, our scrutiny and the other scrutineers were kept outside of the area until they opened the boxes. When they came in, the boxes were all opened, and nobody knows what happened when those ballot boxes were opened. And who knows what goes on? Well, we know what goes on. It's been happening for decades. But there you go. But anyway, that's exactly right. We should, be optimistic. This was never going to be the election when we got Parliament. We know that. Now, the results might not have been as we wanted. We were hoping to get at least one in, and we didn't. No problem. And people ask me this election, just like they did the last election, what happens if you don't get in? We just keep going. Now, what's going to be interesting is just watch the people who keep the fight and which ones fade into the distance, whose hearts were never in it. A1, we're in it. We're in this to the end, and we're in this to win. So we wanted some people in, but it's okay, because as Sarah said, we have raised the electors' level of understanding of the electoral process. So many more people are now actually reading this and understanding it, and we're slowly reducing the number of people that are going, oh, I don't care about politics and I don't care how it works. Well, they do now. They really do. And we have hard evidence, and I mean hard evidence, of the corrupt and incompetent practices of the AC staff. And the people now know that. The people are getting cranky. They're saying, hang on a minute, you are not applying the rules you're supposed to apply. One individual, one of our scrutineers, was banned from the room because she wasn't vaxxed. There's no requirement to be vaxxed, and yet they said you can't come in. And there's just example after example. Tom Rogers, the head of the AEC, he's got one job to do: run an election every 3 years. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't have staff that knew what they were doing. Our scrutineers knew the rules better than the AEC staff did. And the AEC staff, at times, that we've got evidence of it, and these complaints are formally going in, of people having independent ballots taken out of their hands, and the AEC staff telling them they vote independent. And we had, little Johnny Howard, the man that disarmed Australia, putting out a letter, don't trust independents. And Scott Morrison, don't trust independents. Really? I wonder why, John. I wonder why. But, it's been fantastic. Now, the biggest thing, the best thing about this election, and this is unprecedented, so I don't think this is minor. We have lit a fire in the heart of every Australian. They are now really getting energized about this, because they didn't know about politics. And I've been watching very talented individuals sort of standing back and thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Well, I can tell you, at our post-election event down at the Blacktown Tavern, talented, capable people were coming up saying, mate, I can do this. I'm stepping up next time. I'll be there as a candidate next time because they've seen firsthand as a booth volunteer what's required. And it ain't that hard, and it is absolutely doable. So we're going to have this new wave of first-time recruits coming out there. And this is part of the process, this process of growing up politically that I've mentioned several times, where people are going to have to realize, I'll step up, and they will learn the process, and then the less experience will come behind, and you won't win your first election. And that's the way it should be. You don't win your first game of footy the first time you get on the field. You've got to get this experience. And now we as an organisation, at least A1, we've contested our first election as an organisation. And we've tested the systems, and we've seen what works and what doesn't work, and what we have to improve, and what's absolutely fine. I can tell you what's fine is the quality of the candidates. They are just breathtaking. So now we've got these 10 experienced candidates, as well as a number of experienced campaign managers, as well as a lot of very experienced booth workers, because we were outnumbering Labor at the other parties at the booths, and the energy of our volunteers was just something to behold. It was incredible. So all those booth workers now, all this huge team, this enormous team across the country in all the states bar one, we've got this core of skill sets from experience and training, and they're going to provide the basis for the next election. And there's one coming up in Vic, state election now, I think October, November this year. And we can descend on Victoria, and we can all get down there. And now we've got these very experienced people down there to make it work down there. So this is not a small deal. This is a big deal. This is huge. And on an A1 perspective, we've proven ourselves to be the only political organisation in the country that will face the fire and tell the truth. The truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. That's us. We're it. We're the only game in town. Everybody else was hedging, was looking after their own interests, not us. We went out there. We went out there constitutionally. They were independent candidates, genuinely independent candidates. And the profile of A1 has now been lifted again. Not just us, though. More importantly, the manner in which we conduct ourselves. There is an organisation. It's a legitimate organisation. It vets and provides a policy platform for independents to take, and then take that to the people, and then they run their campaign their way. And this will be, just so you're aware, the model for the future once we get into power and reform the Electoral Act. So the party's power is reduced significantly. So look, as far as we're concerned, it was an incredible success. It really was. We didn't get the seats, got it. But this was never going to be the election where we gained power. That massive fire that we've now lit in the hearts of every Australian, when they see they can actually take charge, they get it. It's not that hard. And those of you that challenged your candidates and your sitting members on questions and watched them run away in fear because they had no answers. You've seen them for what they are, and they're not particularly bright. They're not particularly brave. They have no capability other than following orders. And so we are charging hard ahead. Now, just so you're aware, we are moving ahead. We will be lodging formal complaints, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens of complaints that we've received. We are collating. They'll be going into the AEC, and the Commissioner, Tom Rogers, is going to have to answer for this. He's not going to get away with no answer like he's done previously. Nothing to see here, folks. No, we want to see results. We want to see the consequences of illegal and incompetence, illegal action and incompetence that we saw dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And this guy, Tom Rogers, has been the AEC Commissioner for in a temporary and a full-time basis now for 6 years, and he still couldn't organise the election. At the last minute, they said, "Oh, we thankfully we got enough people to man the booths." Well, that's not true. They actually shut them down. So it was a bald-faced lie from the spokesperson for the AEC. Now, you might be accustomed to lies from government, but once again, when we get into power, and we will, and we change the constitution so you are sovereign, you the people, it will be at least sedition, if not treason, for a member of the government to lie to the people. Can you see how this now works? You are the source of legal authority in this country, you individuals, and to have a state representative lie to you is at best sedition and at worst treason, depending on what they're lying about. They must tell you the truth. You are the power. So much is going to change, folks. These are not fine points of law. This is pretty bloody obvious what's going on. Now, in relation to that, for example, and this isn't a fine point of law, let me just, excuse me. I'm just going to share my screen, Sarah. I'm going to show you a document which is concerning to say the least. Can you see that document yet or not?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Now this, we haven't checked this out yet, but this bears a strange resemblance to one we did check out previously, which was on the government website. Now this is the writ, allegedly the writ for the election. And there are a few coloured bits and pieces there. And you'll notice that it's directed to Tom Rogers, who's the director of the Commission for the Electoral Commission. And it's commanding him to hold an election. But if you look down, it says, Ben Morton has commanded Tom Rogers. Now, Ben Morton is down the bottom. You see the signature. He's a special minister for state. He's not authorised to command Tom Rogers. And you've got the Governor General in green there. The GG Hurley is only a witness. Now, the GG authorises the election, not Tom Rogers or any other politician. And you can tell it's bogus, because have a look at this. The signature block in blue, by His Excellency's command, Ben Morton. This is a joke. This looks like a first attempt by a fourth grader to write a writ. This was not, if this is legitimate, this document we're looking is legitimate, then the election wasn't. Now, what's interesting about that is that there are other people, and a lot of people are investigating writs, say, for the Senate in different states. And not, Sarah, fill me in on the detail again, which ones we don't and don't have.
Yeah, so I went onto the AEC website, and there are writs for the House of Reps for all states and territories. There is a writ for the Senate in the Northern Territory and the ACT, but not for the other states. So the other states, I couldn't find a writ for the Senate.
Okay, now see, this is important, folks, because it's not just simply a matter of, oh, don't worry about the paperwork. No. This is the authority by which these elections can be conducted, and it needs to be lawful. It's like the next door neighbour coming and saying, oh, I've authorised an election, let's go vote. Without the proper authority, there is no election. So now this is just an initial look at this aspect of the situation. Understand this: if the writs were not properly issued, the entire election was fraudulent. Fraudulent, pure and simple. Oh, don't worry about it. Let's just get on with it because, you know, politics. No. You don't understand. You just had your rights to choose who was going to govern you and how. They were stolen from you. Absolutely stolen. This is big stuff. This is very important stuff. So that's it.
Very important. Very important.
Go ahead.
It's very important. And I'm just really grateful now that more and more people are waking up to this, because I put my hand up and I admit that I was asleep for a long time. And most of us were asleep at some point. But this is major. The fact that this election was 100% rigged. 100%. Okay, let's look at the US. There's no way Joe Biden, that bumbling idiot, got in on merits. And they reckon they've done it in Germany. France was the same. Australia wasn't going to be any different. But we're aware, we're aware of it. And we've got to just keep pushing. Ring up the AEC. Submit your formal complaints, because we need to hold these guys need to be held to account for this.
That's a very good point. You don't have to submit it to anybody to do it. You can go straight to the AEC. They have a link on the AEC website for complaints, feedback, and go to the fraud link and just write, my name is, I'm an elector in this electorate. I saw this. This appears to be illegal. I demand a response. And they are required to reply, because if in the face of a crime, they are required to investigate. So everybody listening to this, if you saw or heard something illegal, unauthorized, send in a complaint to Mr. Tom Rogers, the laziest bureaucrat in Canberra, because he had one job to do and it appears he didn't do it at all. Now, as I said, we're pushing ahead. What did we do? We had a day off. People said, oh, I'll take a day off tomorrow, Riccardo. Sarah, don't do anything. Well, we went to bed at midnight. We were up at 5. We started our strategic review of the situation, finished that at 10, and we've been working ever since. This doesn't stop, folks, but just check out the other heroes and see whether they're actually doing anything today and how long they stick with it. A1's here. We're here to stay, and we're going to fight until we win. Let me just tell you now, apart from the AEC, what else is in the news? What's coming up? Well, we've got the World Health Organization claim of authority over Australia because the Australian government reckons it's a good thing to hand our sovereignty to the UN. And people say, oh, that's a good idea. Why? We're more than capable of arranging our own health. But let me now show you something else, which will, what's that old ad? Things that make you go, Let me just share you this one. Now, tell me when you can see that page there, that NTI paper, Sarah.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, this is from November 2021. Strengthening global systems to prevent and respond to high consequence biological threats. Results from the 2021 tabletop exercise conducted in partnership with the Munich Security Conference. Now, just bear with me as I read the detail. In March 2021, so that's over a year ago, NTI partnered with the Munich Security Conference to conduct a tabletop exercise on reducing high consequence biological threats. The exercise examined gaps in national and international biosecurity and pandemic preparedness architectures, exploring opportunities to improve prevention and response capabilities for high consequence biological events. This report summarizes the exercise scenario, key findings from this discussion, and actionable recommendations for the international community. Great. Over a year ago. Let's just go down to this little page. Scenario design summary. Figure 1. Attack on the 15th of May 2022. Monkeypox outbreak. 1421 cases, 4 deaths. Now, what came out just recently, this month, just before the election? Monkeypox apparently is taking the world by storm. How many coincidences before it's no longer mathematically possible, folks? If you look at this scenario design, you'll find out exactly what's coming next. This is what they're going to play. This is their play sheet. They did the same with COVID, the tabletop exercise, event 21. What's going to happen, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. This is what they're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, you are being played, and they are showing you exactly what their plan is. This monkeypox nonsense. Here we go again. They're going to use this as a basis for more stringent lockdowns. And now that we allegedly have a Labor government, it'll happen. Now, since when did the friend of the working man of the Labor Party, the alleged friend of the working man and woman, when did they decide that they were totalitarians? Oh, gosh, always. I forgot, sorry. Bit naive of me. The faceless men that have been running the Labor Party for decades and decades and decades, the communists, the men that controlled Whitlam, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, have a look at it. I'm leaving it up on the screen so you can read it for yourself. Monkeypox, 12 months ago, they spoke about it. Event 21, COVID, they spoke about it. Can you begin to understand, please, ladies and gentlemen, you are being played. Now, I know it is psychologically challenging to believe that they could be so cruel, but they are. This is their play sheet. You can go, if you have a look at the screen, you'll see the website there, nti.org. Check it out for yourself. Read it, be horrified, and understand why we are so energized and focused on trying to wake up the country. You've got to face facts, ladies and gentlemen. This election was critical, not because we were going to get into power, but because this is the chance that we now have to show everybody else out there in Australia that they are being played, they are being killed, and there's a game sheet, and they're playing to it. And we're looking at it right here. Everything that is destroying your lives, your children, your businesses, the country is planned. This is not a conspiracy theory. You know what? There's a shortage of conspiracy theories because they're all coming true. Now, I know it's difficult for people to accept that possibly that they've done the wrong thing. And they will, the normal psychological response, and there are the five steps of dealing with a crisis. The first one is denial. You just, no, that can't be true, can't be true, can't be true. When the evidence becomes overwhelming, then you go to the next stage, which is anger. You're going to get angry. You're going to get angry at people like me and Sarah, because we've been trying to wake you up, and you'll say things like, why didn't you tell us earlier? In fact, I got that in Canberra. Why didn't you tell us this in 2010 and 2012? You'll direct your anger at us. you'll direct your anger at the people who did it to you, the people who deserve it. And then you'll bargain. You'll try to bargain your way out. There must be something I can do. There must be something I can do. Then you'll go through depression and you'll finally get to acceptance. Ladies and gentlemen, you better get through these 5 stages of grief, which is what they are, as quick as you can, because the sooner you get through the acceptance of this, the sooner you can take action to save yourselves, your children, your businesses, the country. You're looking at the plan that they have laid out over 12 months ago. It's in play. You are in play. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so critical. Don't get depressed. Get active. Start taking action. And as Sarah said, that's why we do what we do. Letterbox drop. Why? To raise the awareness in the public out there of what is actually going on, because you will not hear it on the mainstream media. And we have these tireless A1 volunteers out there every day, letterbox dropping, trying to wake you up and let you know, here are the facts, here are the facts, here are the facts. Now, we are not a news service, but we're trying to do our best to show you the sources of information that you can go to for yourselves, because we don't expect you to believe us. We expect you to behave like adults and examine with the same intensity you examine the options when you buy a new phone, what's going on the planet. Now, things could get very bad very quickly. We must wake up, we must do the research, we must band together, and that's what A1's all about. Bringing people together to realize if we stand together, and as I said, we're the only ones still here, where's everybody else gone? I won't mention names, don't need to. Where are they? Are they organizing or are they just loudmouths? Come to A1, sign up, get your working with children's check, and get to work. We have a country to save. And by a country, I mean every child and every family out there, because that's what A1 focuses on. Our first priority are kids and family. Next is sovereignty and unity. And finally, decency. That's what we're about. So there you go. That's our, I think that's all I wanted to cover tonight. Sarah, let me just stop that share now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a tough old day. I get it. But the worst thing wasn't we didn't get elected. If you remember, for those of you who have been with us on this journey for some time now, you'll know that we have several lines of operation. Politics is the most visible, but the least critical. We have 5 other lines of operation. That's things that we are doing to save the country. Now, we didn't get in. We will. In my opinion, I don't think this election is going to last. I don't think this election is going to hold. I think there'll be another election within 6 months. Don't hold me to the time frame. But within 6 months, if the Australians decide to wake up and get active and take control of their future, this election will be, what's the American term, decertified. And as Sarah said, maybe the Governor General will finally be persuaded to dissolve this farcical government, which allegedly was elected last night, appoint an executive council comprising those who are trusted by the people to get rid of all the COVID nonsense, to get rid of the monkeypox nonsense, get that out, clean up the electoral system, and have a first free and fair election in probably 60 years. That's what this is about. So if you're sad at the election result, okay, I get it. Have your moment, then pick yourself up and get to work like we did. We had a whole 5 hours sleep and we're at work the next morning, this morning, 5 o'clock, going through our strategic review of what we've got to do next to make sure we are on track and we have a plan. Shoot, go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, just one little thing. I get it. There's a lot of people that are really pissed off. They're really upset. They're really worried, particularly if you're from communist countries and you know what's coming. I get it. But you need to stay positive. You need to stay motivated. And you've got to ask yourself every morning when you get out of bed, what is your why? My why is the kids. This is why I got involved with A1, to protect the kids. And when you get down and out, think about your why, because that keeps you going. And there could potentially be more lockdowns and all this other bullshit to come. And we've got to keep our heads up, stick together in your community, get your like-minded people together, build that community spirit. And we will win this. I know we will. There may be more pain to come, but we just got to stick together and just stay motivated. And again, what is your why? Ask yourself, what is your why? What motivates you? And that's all I have to say.
That's a great place to finish, Sarah, because that's exactly it. What better why could there be than your own kids or any child? Any child. That's why we're here, folks. Save the children, for real. Okay, that is the A1 election update. I'm Riccardo Bosi. I no longer have to authorise this statement, but I tell you what, we're doing it for you, and we're doing it for your kids. Come and join us. We're here. There's lots of work to be done. When enough of us stand together, we can do nothing but win. My name is Riccardo Bosi, National Leader of AustraliaOne, joined by Sarah Yule, National Operations. Thank you for your time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Smile. Let's get back to work tomorrow and win our country back. Thank you very much.